It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Welcome to your Chips and Salsa show. This is Don Jorge El Alacran. And with me is Cheryl Rosado, my co-host.
Hello.
And we also have with us Senator Anthony Kern, and we have Stacey Goodman. She's running for the
She's running for Cave Creek's
Cave
Uniford School Board. And
School
Senator
Board.
Kern's running for Congress. As you can see in our sign, he's running in CD8.
And then later we'll have Reina
Patocs.
Patocs, and she's running for LD5 House.
Yes, she's a write-in. It's really important.
Okay, just remember we have early mail-ins. Starts July the 3rd to July the 30th for election. Election day is on July the 30th. Copa America is this Saturday, is the last one from State Farm Stadium. Remember the 4th of July, it's this week, so it's Thursday, so be ready to enjoy the 4th of July. Without further ado, my co-host, what do you have to say?
I just wanted to wish everyone, today is actually, I don't know if you know, election season eve, because tomorrow is the 3rd, and that's when ballots are officially going out. And I think are the voting centers, are they open starting tomorrow as well?
We'll open them starting tomorrow. We set them up today. The one I'm doing at ASU, we set it up today, and we'll be running it from 8 o'clock in the morning from now until the 30th.
Wow. And so that means that Don Jorge will not be with us for all the shows this month. He will be working some of the time, and he will not be here, but I'll have the co-host that we had last week, Nicole Mercado, is going to be filling in while George is doing his patriotic duty and working on the polls.
And we'll continue having our candidates. So right now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce ladies first. Stacey Goodman, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Stacey Goodman, and I am running for Cave Creek Unified School Board board member. Cave Creek, as you know, is north of North Scottsdale.
Ooh.
And I'm running on a slate with two other individuals, Sherry Lopez and Corey Ream. We are running as a slate, and we'll have our signs up soon, and you can get to meet us hopefully soon.
Have you already turned in your signatures?
I'm turning mine in actually tomorrow morning.
Okay, so you don't need any more.
Not at this point.
What about the rest of your slate? Are they good?
They're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you said that you're running on a slate, so I'm assuming that means that they are all strong Republicans. I wouldn't think you would associate yourself with anyone who wasn't, but...
Well, the good thing about our board is we each bring different skills to the table. So we're a very diverse group. Sherry is very much into safety and children. I, of course, being a retired law enforcement officer, big into safety and traditional teachings, reading, writing, arithmetic, the Constitution, saying the pledge. And Corey has children in the school district, so he has a vested interest in it as well, and he's a business owner.
Nice. And then you mentioned earlier before we went live that you had something you wanted to specifically talk about because, as we know, the reading, writing, and arithmetic is what children should be learning in school,
Yes.
but unfortunately our schools are also teaching them things that we don't agree with. And you had an example?
Yes, we have social teachings in the school now. This is one of the books that's in every single school pretty much in the United States. It's in the Cave Creek Elementary School library, as well as every other library in all the schools in Arizona. And it's called Genderqueer. And basically it teaches, they're cartoons.
And it's important that they're cartoons. Why? Not just to appeal to children, but because...
Right, because of some of the pictures in here, it could be deemed as child pornography if they were actual photos, because they do talk about or teach how to give, can I say it? Blowjobs.
Wow.
in the book, and there's pictures of that
Of
in here,
oral sex.
of oral sex, boy on boy oral sex.
That's an
And
actual book.
this
at the
is
school.
and it's by Stonewall, which is they've been providing books for schools for a very long time. So my passion is, I'm not against the First Amendment, but these books do not belong in our schools.
They don't know.
Put it in a public library and let the parent decide if the children should read it. I don't believe we should be teaching this in school. I don't believe we should be teaching any of the communism of SEL, DEI, and all that other feelings, hurt my feelings. As it is now, they want to remove guidance counselors and put in mental health professionals in the schools, which I'm also against that. Not that I'm against mental health, because I'm not. I'm an advocate for it, but I believe in the schools we don't want to bring children
They're
in.
completely overstepping their bounds with that. They have no
100%.
business. If there are mental health issues, and unfortunately there are children with mental
Yes.
health issues.
Yes, there are.
That's why they have, their PCP. We have insurance, and there's not the, well, our family, can't afford it, is really not something, because we do have, access here in Arizona, so that it is available for even the most indigent of children. So they just don't. The schools just are trying to take parents' jobs.
I believe that the parents have the right to discuss what their children are learning and should have a say in their children's education, and the schools should not be overstepping. Teach them, when I went to school, I didn't know any of my professors, sexual orientation as far as who they wanted to sleep with. I didn't know what their political leanings were. They were there to teach me.
Right.
They were there to teach me reading, writing, arithmetic. We stood up for the pledge. I grew up on Long Island. Very, very robust school system. And anytime you had a disagreement with a teacher or a professor in college, you would discuss it. The professor would say, okay, why do you think that? Or why is this different? And it would teach you to think for yourself. We want children to learn these things and be critical thinkers for themselves. That'll give them a sense of pride, and will alleviate a lot of these issues.
I've heard, I have 4 children, and so I've definitely heard people say one of the worst things that you can do for your children is everything for them. They need to be problem solvers. You need to put them in difficult situations and let them sort themselves out. Let them learn how to button their shirts and the things. Let them feel frustrated. And of course, you don't want that to take that to the extreme, but they need that. Children need that. And you don't. And in the school, if they're, if I wanted my child to have that book, then I would purchase it and we would have that book. But it has no place in any school.
I agree. And like I said, I'm not judging anybody on what they choose to do in their own homes or with their own lives. It's just in the schools, we need to have certain teaching guidelines. And I'm big on teaching cursive. It's been proven in many studies that cursive actually helps.
It's important.
Brain development, and it also helps them learn their God-given rights, the Constitution.
Right.
And seeing some of the pages that you flipped, I'm older than everybody here. To me, that's pornography.
Yes.
And you don't have pornography in schools. And I don't want my kids exposed to pornography.
It's
'cause that's what it is.
disgusting
It's
that tax
disgusting,
dollars went to that.
and our dollars went, and that's ridiculous. So yeah.
When I first went to a school board meeting, I had another parent tell me that she said, "Do you have children?" And I said, "No, I don't." And she goes, "Well, you have no voice here." And I said, "Well, my tax dollars would disagree. So, I feel like I can speak on behalf of all the taxpayers that don't have children that want to say in a school board. And I'm willing to speak with the parents. I'm willing to speak with the teachers and get their input as well. I want to be a team player. I want to work with the superintendent. I want to make sure kids enjoy going to school, feel safe in school, and that's basically what our whole slate feels.
And you have common sense.
Yes, sir, I do.
That is also something severely lacking
Yes.
from many.
Common
many
sense
places
is not
nowadays.
so common.
Right. Okay, well, thank you.
Anthony.
Hey, you guys are getting my blood boiling with this conversation going on.
So, do you have anything to add to the?
Yeah, absolutely have something to add, and I don't care, what the heck. This is insanity that our tax dollars are being used to promote gay sex and pornographic material to our children. They want to sexualize our children.
Yes.
This is insane. I remember just a few years ago, we couldn't call anybody queer,
Right.
right? Remember that?
Yep.
And then now all of a sudden it's okay to call everybody queer. So they're insane. They think men can get pregnant. They want to sexualize your children. Get your kids out of public schools. Elect conservative school board members. We've got a lot of them, not only in the Cave Creek Unified, but in Peoria Unified, Washington Elementary, all across the state. We've got a lot of good conservative school board members that will stand up and get this crap out of our schools. So
Good.
And we've got to do it. And I think we have, ESAs, the Empowerment Scholarships, so that children are not trapped in those situations anymore.
Yep.
I mean, we already had charter schools, but I know some of that is seeping into charter schools because charter schools are public schools.
Yep.
And so, but now we have ESAs to help with that for private education, for homeschooling. I'm a homeschool mom.
Yep.
And just alternative schools. There's micro schools, there's online schools, there's all sorts of different opportunities for parents in Arizona that parents in other states would love to have, and we need to get the word out because people aren't taking advantage of this because they don't know about it yet.
Right.
So, did you want to mention about your delegate stuff, just quick, George?
Yes. And do you want to say? Do you have a website where people can call and donate or help your?
Well,
your
we're developing that
Okay.
because we're not going to be on the ballot till the general on
okay.
November 5th. You will be whatever school district you're in. The top obviously will be the important ones: the president, the senators,
Or
the
you could
congressmen.
donate to Kern for Congress, and I'll make sure she gets it.
And
Yeah.
Is that an endorsement?
Throw that out there.
So you're going to be a delegate to the convention.
So November 5th, it'll be Trump Goodman. Then is what you're saying, right?
Well, I would hope. I've only been to Mar-a-Lago once, so.
So we're going to invite
you
you
have been.
back. So you for the general. So
Yeah, we'll have you back a little sooner, a little later, so that you can let us know about your all your different. When you have signs available, when you're looking for volunteers to help canvass, all that kind of stuff, because we want to get the support we need for our school board people.
I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
These are
I
very
had the
cool,
privilege
George.
of going to the 2016 convention. As you can see, I was an alternate delegate, and this is the kind of pin they give you when you're an alternate delegate. And
I might just keep it.
I know, huh?
Just start wearing it to the shows.
See, I was there in 2016, and I never got a pin like that at all.
Were you an alternate?
I was a delegate.
What?
I got one. I
you got
received one of those.
You got one of these.
Oh, okay.
No, I never got one of those either.
Did you get this?
Yes, I did get
Oh,
that.
okay. So maybe the delegates get.
Well,
I like that better, though.
All the delegates get this. You
This
had
one,
to have that.
this one didn't.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for you.
I know.
I'm going to make
Okay.
sure I get
Then
Throw
you
it
Well,
under
it
the
does
bus
say
again.
alternate delegate. So.
Then, as a delegate, as an
I did
alternate
get
or a
those.
delegate, they give you an all-access pass, so you get to party your heart
Yeah.
out. Every day you get,
How much access do you need?
Right.
You're already a
and
delegate.
every day you get one of these. It's
A new one issued.
A new one issued, and without this one, you can't get into the convention. And you'll have this because you have all access.
Yeah.
All access.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have your pin, of course. I was in 2016. I was an alternate, so I had an alternate delegate pin.
What song do you remember from the 2016 convention?
Oh, they played so many.
Which one do you remember the most, though?
I can't remember.
Sweet
Was it
Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Nice.
That was the one. I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Well, that's how you get white people dancing. So.
Right, I know exactly. My
every-
wife would say that. She said,
So-
"All white people dance like this." Right?
So they give you one of these. It either
They
says
just raised the roof.
They just raised their.
like the delegates will have one that says delegate. I had alternate. You have this one, and this is where you put your pins on. And I got a lot of pins.
Look at
'cause
those
you-
pins.
How'd you get this Texas one?
I just traded it off.
Yeah.
See, this
Pin
one
trading.
this was our pin. And you can look at all the pins. Our pin was the best.
That's cool.
I
Yeah,
like
I
it
have that
also
on my desk.
because it's copper,
Let me see
you know,
that.
and that's
That is
so
cool.
Arizona.
That is so cool. See,
And
I
then-
never did this, but now that I see this, I see.
Oh, so
every
Senator
day,
Kern's going to be into the
like,
pin trading.
Like I said, you get
know.
5 of these. 5 different
I like that one.
tags. These you have to put on under or with your linear. So every day you have a
Lanyard.
new one, and by the end of the week you have up to number 5. Because this is number 1, number 2. I have 3 and 5 at home somewhere.
Are you
and then-
are you only issued one Arizona pin though?
Oh, no,
So,
they
like-
give you 10.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
okay.
got
Because I
10.
was like, because I wouldn't
And
trade
then-
it away if I only got
And then
one.
I bought 10 more, really cheap, and
oh, you can
I
buy
would
more.
trade one of these for 2 of theirs. Then I would trade one of theirs to somebody else that didn't have it. So I would, you had up to about 50 pins to get. I never reached the 50, but I got a lot of them.
Well, you got 2 Texas. You know what? You should
And then you
send
give
one of
you
these
2 of
Texas
these.
with, because you have 2 of them. Send one of these Texas with Senator Kern.
Yeah.
So that he can bring you back something.
Before you leave,
Something
talk to
cool.
me. And they give you this blue paper that says Convention 2016 for you to put all your little
I like that.
pins.
That's,
And
Who
then you put
designs
it-
these pins? And how do I get on that committee?
I don't know.
every state's unique. I remember them talking about trading pins and bringing, talking to other states. I never did it, but now that I see
Now,
that.
I was an alternate in 2016. On 2020, I became a delegate, and I would have been really happy. And that was the pin that they gave us then.
Yeah, they never
I like
gave.
the,
Yeah,
I like the copper one better.
I feel cheated.
Yeah, the
And
copper one is much nicer.
I would have had my name on a chair and everything, but the pandemic hit and
Oh.
Wait.
Canceled.
You mean scamdemic?
the scandemic, and Trump canceled the convention, or it was canceled by the Republican Party. But they did send us our pin.
I don't know who was responsible for designing them, but whoever you are, I'm really sorry to say they phoned it in 2020.
They did.
Look at the difference.
Yeah,
This one
so
is
I was
really,
there on the nice one.
Yeah.
He was there on the not so nice ones.
Yeah.
And I would have been
picked,
there on
You picked well then,
I did.
Senator Kern.
I would have been there on this one if they would have.
Are you going this time?
No, I gave it to Shelby Bush. And
I'll say,
very
yeah,
good.
he decided not
plus,
to.
it's like $6,000 now. It's too expensive. I spend the money better with my family. I'll go to the 2026.
Okay.
I'll prepare myself for that one. And then you get this all-access pass.
Oh, yeah.
You go everywhere. There's 2 buses. There's 72 delegates. At that time, 72 delegates, 72 alternates. Now they cut it down to 40 something.
Well, we
And-
didn't, but the voters did.
Yeah, so we pick a Republican governor and we'll go back up to 72 delegates.
Yes.
I'm hoping for 2026. Anyway, you go everywhere. They have meet and greets everywhere. Everything's free. The food is free. The drinks are free. It's on if you have a bucket list, it should be on your bucket list.
Look at this one, Senator Kern. You can't even compare it. Of course, Arizona's was way better than
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's the Georgia 2016 one.
Yeah.
And
No.
I mean, not
Maybe,
to be
maybe
mean,
that was the
but
first one I was going to trade. I'm like, no.
No.
That might have been the first one I was going to trade. I'm like,
sad
no,
trombone.
I'm not into
And
it.
I went ahead and I saved 6 of these to bring back to give them as souvenirs because I had a lot of.
Oh, thank
I
you.
actually-
I'll
friends
take
out
one.
here.
I actually still have mine. I have it on my
I have-
desk. I wear it sometimes.
He has an extra one right here. I see it. Don't think I don't, George. Don't think I didn't. I saw it.
Extra
Look,
what?
an
Ooh.
extra one of those for me. I mean,
They are nice.
and the Texas. Yeah,
Oh.
he has 2 Texas and 2.
So and then this was the you had to have this one on the all access and then the daily one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every day you had another one. By the end of the week, you had a bunch of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and if anybody has it on the bucket list, they give you all kinds of goodies. This was a candle
Yeah.
that I got.
Have you
all
ever
kinds
burned
of-
it?
They give you all kinds of stuff.
I love candles. Can I see that one, George? Sure. I think this is cool. I'm hoping to go in the future.
I got
It'll
all
be
kinds of
20
stuff
grand by
that
then,
you-
but
Say you're funny, George, in the
Yeah, it'll probably been about $8,000 by then. But I was ready. I was ready for this one because I wanted to be a delegate, not an alternate. I mean, I
Yeah,
had
delegates
fun.
are fun. I was a delegate in 2016.
The chair
nice.
down on the floor
Yeah.
has your name on it. That's
Yeah.
how
Is
good.
it an all day event?
It
like,
is. You're
like
there
8
all
to
day.
10?
Yeah,
Really?
you're there all day. But it's cool. You kind of just get into the atmosphere.
And it's 4
Oh,
or
yeah.
5 days?
There's a lot of waiting
5
around.
days.
Yeah,
Wow,
About
5
5
days.
a lot of hurry up and wait.
But in the morning they take you to different events,
Yeah.
and then
Very secure. Then when you go to different events, you have protesters that you run across,
Yeah.
and
I just ignored them.
Oh.
I was having so much fun.
yeah, and then you go see the sights. So
In Milwaukee, there's definitely going to be protesters.
yeah.
So we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They gave us these guitars. Next time
Oh,
I'll
is
bring
that
the-
where it? I would say there was some here.
Yeah, but they gave you a guitar. It looks like a guitar. It's about that big. I'll bring it next time. I'll show
Okay.
you. Yeah, because I got a lot. Oh,
I didn't bring back
Oh.
much that I
Oh.
remember.
You
I
should
didn't.
you should bring some in on when we have the next show that you're on, so that we can
we're gonna
talk
do a
about whatever
switch
we
have.
have.
Quick, so
Yeah.
because you have to go to a meeting, and
But
we're
this
gonna
is
bring
super cool.
Reina.
Wait, is this one? Oh no, it is just 2 Texas ones because you had this one
So-
here.
So we're gonna make a.
Well, was this just like something? Because I'm assuming that they have a store.
No,
Yeah.
they throw a bunch of stuff in a bag, and this is in the bag.
Oh, okay. So, so this is cool. So, Senator Kern, you
is.
mentioned that you are going to be a delegate this
Yes,
year, and
yes.
I'm very excited. I will say that as a state delegate, I totally voted for you,
Oh,
and I
thank you.
told everyone else
Ah.
to vote for Senator Kern.
Well, it worked. I mean, I was a top vote getter.
You
so
were, and I
that
was
shocked me.
so proud to have a part in that as
That was shocking.
the at-large votes that
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
the top vote
Yeah.
getter, and Senator
That's
Kern's
an honor.
also a member at large AZGOP with me,
Yeah.
so I was very excited for my fellow MAL,
Yes.
and then also you're running for Congress. If you
Yes.
wanted to talk about that, just quick.
Yeah, sure. So, as stated on the campaign side, my name is Anthony Kern. I am running for Congress. I'm a current state senator. Trump endorses the state senate. I've met the president 3 times. He's a great man. Even before he ran for president, I got to meet him, and it was the talk was he's such a personable guy. And if you ever get the chance to meet President Trump, it's like us sitting here. You know, he's like your best friend. But I am running for Congress in CD8. I lived in the district 35 years. It's a vacant seat being vacated by Debbie Lesko, and she was there about 6 years. When she came in, you know, I was a state representative. I told myself I'm not ready yet, but this time I'm ready. And there's 6 of us in the race. You know,
That's a crowded field.
it is a crowded field, but a couple of them don't live there. No matter what they say, they don't live in the district. And then you have a choice between a more moderate candidate and a proven fighter. Clean Elections did a debate a couple weeks ago, and they asked the voters, what do you want to see in a candidate? And they said, we want to see a fighter. We want to see somebody that can right this ship. That's why all of us can go under President Trump, and you know, no matter what kind of factions we have in the Republican Party, we all unify for the most part under President Trump. And so, you know, I decided to throw my hat in the race. I've lived in the district. I go to church in the district. I involved in the school board meetings. I get school board candidates up and running in different school boards. You know, I'm a precinct committeeman, the only one in the race that can say that. I'm a state committeeman, the only one in the race that can say that. Member at large, as you said, twice elected for CD8. You know, I just RNC delegate coming down in a couple weeks. You know, just rated 100 by the American Conservative Union, A rated by the National Rifle Association, Free Enterprise Club 100 rated. So, you know, member of the Arizona Freedom Caucus, and I was a law enforcement officer too for a little bit. And, you know, just a proven fighter. If you know, I'm an indicted Trump elector. Right.
Exactly.
I know. So I have 9 felonies under indictment right now, but I'm okay because 1, I serve Jesus Christ. 2, they can come at me with everything they have, and it's not going to work. Just like they do with President Trump.
Exactly. When you've done nothing wrong, you can sleep at night.
100%. Yeah, you can sleep at night. I've had the FBI at my door, the DOJ at our door, the Attorney General at our door, and we've put up cameras so we can record these guys
Smart.
coming in. Yeah, and so we've told them to get off our property. This is still America. I don't talk to you unless you have a subpoena. And even if you have a subpoena, I might not talk to you. So We'll see. And Steve Bannon's paying the price for that right now.
Right.
So it is
Get
evil
an
versus
attorney.
good. As you just saw the school board candidate put a book, Queer Theory. Are you kidding me?
Terrible.
It's time for battle, folks. And we've got to have a proven fighter in Washington. And again, that's why we all want Donald Trump and
Right.
Anthony Kern for Congress.
And that's why I said it recently about the "It Goes Too Far"
Yeah.
campaign. But these are hills to die on, folks. And protecting our kids from books like that,
Yep.
hill to die on.
Yep, hill to die on. All the Democrats have to offer is death and destruction. Everything they touch turns to crap. And they want to abort babies at 9 months. And can you imagine? We all remember partial birth abortion and how the
Yep.
horrendous, horrific procedure that is. And now they want to go beyond that. And literally, after a baby's born, they want to just leave it alone and let it die. So it is evil versus good. It's time to take our country back. Donald Trump at the helm and Anthony Kern in Congress, and get good fighters, in school boards. And, I appreciate this young lady. I just met her tonight. She's a write-in candidate in a Democrat district. And, that takes a lot of guts to stand up. But I can see you have it in you. And so, it gives us hope to see the younger generation rising up, get involved, just get in there and fight for what's right.
Reina Patocs.
Yes, Reina
Patocs.
Patocs, yeah.
And I loved what you said earlier when you said, like, you run as a write-in because you're not gonna give it to them.
Right.
They're gonna have to fight you to get that seat.
I mean, somebody has to stand between them and our kids. Like when I think about, the book, we just talked about it, but ESA is a huge opportunity for parents to protect their children, right? Even Governor Hobbs, her plan for ESA is to force children to spend 100 days in the public school system before they are allowed to be eligible for ESA. Think about that. If it takes 20 days to build a habit, how long does it take to indoctrinate children with things that won't, essentially victimize them, right? Like pornography, allowing them to claim a different gender at school versus at home. These sorts of ideologies are dangerous for children to be worked out separate from their parents. And this is what the governor even is proposing to do, to try to separate children before you even would be eligible. And think about all these ideologies that you're now allowing kids to be
confused.
Yeah, you're allowing them to be confused, certainly.
And I think that 100 days, one day, is too much. I would not subject my children to that, and I haven't. That's why they've been always homeschooled, or they did briefly attend a charter, and they attended, some of them, a private micro school. But I'm not going to ever subject my children to the public school system, whether I'm in Arizona or wherever I'm at. It doesn't matter, because of things like that. My children are valuable to me.
Yes.
And other people's children are valuable. And we can't, this, like you said, this Hobbs wanting to do that is completely unacceptable. Why should we force our children to be in a failing school system for any amount of time?
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Hobbs is communist. A.G. Mays, she's a Marxist.
Yep.
They pick and choose what laws they want to enforce, and it's insanity out there.
Yeah.
So
and even voting against the communism bill to allow information about the victims of communism in school to be taught, she voted against that as well, vetoed it. So it's you think about the things that are coming across her desk. We don't have an ally of somebody insanity, even across the aisle.
Yep.
In LD5, do you have any? It's completely blue. I know LD11 has no representation, so you don't have any in LD5 either.
No, our state senator, blue. The two people who were appointed to the House, both blue, Sarah Lingori and Charles Lucking. A friend of mine knows him personally, lives in the same neighborhood, and Charles is, pretty far to the left into that communism territory from what I've heard. So we can see that through his voting record.
So do you have
as well.
somebody running against you on the Republican ticket?
No, so I'm running as a write-in candidate.
Oh, the write-in, okay.
Yes. So I have always cared about our kids, about our state, the homelessness crisis, the fentanyl epidemic, our open borders.
Yep.
These are things I've always cared about.
Yep.
And so when I found out nobody was running and our LD had asked me to run, I was like, of course.
Absolutely.
If I have your guys' support, I'm wanting to stand between, us and the evils and the powers that be.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you running clean elections or?
No.
Well, you can't because
I'm a write-in. Yeah, exactly right. So I definitely need support. I do have
support.
Please support. I definitely would love and appreciate and would feel honored with any support. You can go to ReinaPatocs.com and then you can donate through the link there.
And I'm sure you also need people to help you canvass because
Yes.
people aren't going to know unless you. I mean, I know there's a list printed, but no one looks at that.
No.
So you need to get your name out there. And I love how you did it on your palm card here.
Yes.
It like actually shows how you want it, that you have to write it in, bubble it in. This is really good.
Yes, and going off of what Cheryl was just saying, because I'm a write-in candidate, that doesn't mean like I need signatures. I actually need you to write me in for the primary on July 30th, or before, right? We just talked about the ballots are being shipped July 3rd.
Election season.
It is election season, so yes, you can write my name in where it says state rep. District 5, if you're living in District 5, it will have a blank that says write in on the left-hand side with a line below the candidates who made the ballot, and you can just write my name in and put a circle. And if you had somebody else in mind that you wanted to vote for, let's say you happen to be watching the show, but you had maybe a Democrat in mind that you wanted to vote for, there are 2 open seats, so you can vote for 2 persons.
Right.
Is there a threshold you have to pass?
I was just going to say,
Yes.
so it's, some people might think like, oh, I don't need to write her, because as long as she votes for herself, like, but you need a certain number.
Yes, yeah, we're looking for 1,000 commitments. I only need 300 to make, let's say 400, like 361, 400 to make the general election in November. But we're shooting for 1,000 commitments just to ensure that there will be no problems making that ballot in November, because it's so important that we have conservative representation, not just on the ballot as a show, but we need that in our state house. We need that pushing back against some of the legislation where we're not holding sex offenders accountable. We're allowing all kinds of things into schools. These things are not okay with so many of us, but if we are laissez-faire about who we put into office, we can't be surprised about the laws that come downhill.
Exactly.
And the thing is, at the polling place, at the polling place I'm at, we have the write-ins. So when the people come in, they see the write-in names instead of way in the back. We try to, and I have 3 other sites that I'll have, and I'll tell my inspectors, put it on the table, because I'm not.
Thank you.
I have to be nonpartisan, but I can tell them, put the write-in list right here so people can see.
Yeah.
Let them see that there's another choice, And so we've made a point to bring in. To put the names prominent, so when they walk in, before they get to the site books, they come across the write-in list.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll see that and they'll write in your name.
That
Very
would be
good.
awesome.
So since you said you needed that many commitments, I assume that you've been out canvassing. And what issues are people telling you are important in LD5?
Yeah, so even across the aisle, what we're seeing is borders are important to everyone, right? I mean, we've seen the numbers trickle in. Arizona accounts for, I believe 24% of all illegal border crossings in the United States, and we've had 10 million in the last. Right? So it's a huge problem here in Arizona, not just across the country. But then second, I hear a ton about schools, not just school choice, but ensuring our teachers are paid fairly, ensuring that certain materials aren't making it into the public school system, because even parents that choose to want to have their children in a public school, you have to make that choice for yourself, as that parent. They should have the right to know that their child isn't going to be victimized by material that isn't age appropriate and it isn't healthy, like for their psyche, outside of a parental conversation.
So how many doors typically do you knock on?
So far we've knocked on 7,000 doors.
And what is the reaction of the people that? Because they're all voters. So.
Extremely positive.
Oh, that's good.
Extremely positive. Yeah, I'm surprised about when you're walking up to a stranger. I mean, it's almost like rejection therapy.
Yeah. You get tough. You get tough. You get tough.
Exactly. And to see how many people are extremely positive and happy, especially, we distill the list down to conservatives. So you have a higher likelihood of having a positive interaction. But
and people are probably also grateful to you for stepping up in this blue area, because I know in South Phoenix where I live, that's how I feel. I would always be like, oh, I really appreciate you running, because sometimes I don't have anyone to vote for in a race, and that's disheartening. Yeah. So it's a shot of of hope that you give people.
Yep.
That's great, especially in a purple Arizona. We're leaning from red into purple, and we don't want to go blue. We've seen what happens when places go blue. We've seen
And we don't
what
want to stay purple.
No, and we've
Right.
seen what happened to our budget in Arizona when we've gone blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were, in the black over $2.5 billion when Ducey left office January 2nd. Now we're at $400 trillion, or million dollars, not trillion. Probably thinking about our debt. $400 million in the red now in just a little over a year and a half, right? That's what blue policies, unfortunately, and that's not like a wide sweeping, statement. I don't mean it to be, but that's what we see happens fiscally.
Well, I agree with that. Blue policies, everything the Democrats touch turns to garbage.
Mm-hmm. Not the first time you've said that.
Everything.
So
Everything.
true.
Well, you see that a lot in the Senate.
Look at California.
Yes.
Right.
Look at New York. Look at Michigan. I mean, look at our nation.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Democrat, president, and there's Democrats running the country. And look at
Right.
what's happening now. Elections and immigration and everything.
Yes.
Fentanyl and just it's a mess. Inflation.
Inflation is killing people,
Inflation's
the
killing people.
working man
Yep.
and those families.
And the Democrat that was the Democrat of 10 years ago or 20 years ago
Yep.
is not the Democrat of
No,
today.
not
And so
at
I
all.
don't mean to use that word Democrat to offend people.
Right.
But when we're placing ourselves under these ideologies, we have to recognize the slow degradation of the party,
Yep.
where it's not recognizable to what it was even 10, 20 years ago. It's kind of descended into lunacy.
Right, and when you said that whoever was appointed now, that somebody knows them and that they're incredibly liberal, I was thinking to myself, they're just radicals now,
Yes.
completely radical. And people, I know a
Cheryl.
couple that have been, older people that have been Democrats their whole lives, and they are ready to vote for Trump this year
Yep.
because their party is not their party.
Right.
Yes.
And
Right.
so I just don't want our party to be sliding down a slightly liberal slope
Yeah.
either, but
Absolutely.
we will take that.
Well, and we'll take care of that at the convention.
Yes.
Make sure our platform doesn't change.
We'll say we'll work on a platform because we
Yeah.
haven't changed it since 2012 or 2016.
and we shouldn't be. There's some foundational truths that we cannot. All the Republicans have is truth. The Democrats have confusion and death and destruction. And Republicans, if we stand on truth, that's all we have. And so we have to tell people about truth. This is black. This is white. This is right. This is wrong. Over the years.
This is male. This is female.
This is male. This is female. No, these are my children, not the villages.
Right.
So, I mean, the Democrats have done a great job, or actually, everyone has done a good job of sleeping at the wheel, and now we find ourselves in a downslide position as a country. So we've got to step back up and just proclaim the truth and just stand for what's right.
And like you said we need to speak the truth, and we have the truth, and that's all we need is the truth.
That's all we need is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, I mean,
Exactly.
if you want me to go down that path, I will. But I'm a Bible-believing Christian conservative.
Amen. And that's what I was thinking earlier when you were saying good and evil. We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
And I'm not afraid. I mean, you saw the video. If you haven't seen the video, it's on my website of us. I brought a prayer team down to the state senate a few weeks ago. Jimmy Kimmel had it on his show, and Joy Reid. Joy Reid was all upset and called me a Christian nationalist and a white supremacist and blah, 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 blah. But I made her angry, and that made me happy, so I'm good. But, we took a prayer team down to the state senate, and God forbid we pray over our capital. And so, they'd rather teach our children about gay sex and never teach them about the 10 Commandments. I had a bill down there about the 10 Commandments. Passed the House, passed the Senate, vetoed by the governor. Yeah, shocking. So it is a battle between good and evil, and we have to take our foundation, which is Christianity in this country, and we have to just bring it forward, bring it back into government.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to do that.
Good. That's exactly what voters want, I think.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love what you just said, and I would just add on that I think that people forget, or maybe they don't want to believe, that largely the LGBTQIA movement feels very religious.
Yeah.
Like there is
There
a
you go.
push for heavy indoctrination. Like when you think back to your childhood education, did you have to be taught about heterosexuality?
Right.
Did you have to be taught that in you know, in kindergarten, well, because you like pink, you're a girl, just to confirm.
Right.
You know, things that are obvious don't need to be confirmed.
Right.
I don't need to tell people, hey, I'm a woman.
Right.
Like it's self-evident.
Right.
You know, and so just like so many atheists and Democrats don't want to hear about Christians in schools,
that's their
Christianity
religion.
in school. But you also want to subject, you know, other persons to a similar religious ideology.
Yep.
And so
100%.
these things they write themselves, the jokes.
They do.
They sure do.
They do. And the average person out there in your district, whether they be Democrat or Republican, in my district, across the state, across the nation, they know right from wrong. It's built in us. The creator of the universe has showed us. So for them to try to push their agenda for whatever reason on us is just not going to work. So we stand for truth, and we're going to proclaim the truth. And if we're the last one standing, and if we go to jail for it, we go to jail for it eventually. But right now we're not going to go to jail for it. So we've got to stand up while we're free, while we're able. I remember one time I was going to go for a jog, and I got a text from an FBI agent, said, "We'd like to talk to you." And this terror rose up inside me. And I'm like, this is not good. So I ran about a mile, and then all of a sudden I started getting very angry and very mad. I said, no. It's still America, and they are not going to have their way, and my tax dollars pays for them. So when they came to my door, I said, get off my property, talk to my attorney. I'm not talking to you.
Good for you.
And I had nothing to hide.
Right.
But why would I talk to you? Because you don't really want to know the truth. You want to say something and take it out of context and go after someone else. So
Exactly. And so if you would like to help support Senator Kern, what's your website, Senator
Kern for Congress, kernforcongress.com, or Vote Kern. It'll take you to Vote Kern, Kern for Congress, so we get that subliminal message in there to vote Kern, vote Kern, vote Kern.
Vote Kern, vote Kern.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you look across, there's 6 of us in the race. It's definitely doable. We hit about 550 doors today. We hit, I believe, about 800 yesterday. And we're out there, boots on the ground, campaign, which is the way they used to do it. And that's why people are resonating to you, is because you're out there working it hard. Yeah. And every campaign, if you win this one and you don't have an opponent next time, get out there, talk to the voters, because to me that's the best part of running for office. Is I get to, I've prayed with people.
Yes.
I've led people to Jesus Christ. I've saw people die of cancer. Their last vote was for Anthony Kern. I mean, we've built 10-year, 15-year relationships in my political life, and still have really good relationships. So care about people, people care about you, and that's really what it's all about.
People appreciate authenticity. That's
Yeah.
why we love President Trump.
Yep.
And I think if you want to be successful as a politician, then you need to be authentic and speak the truth, and people are really going to like that. So, Senator Kern, what kind of help are you looking for? Are you looking for donations, canvassers?
Money, basically. We need to raise about $20,000 to get it to the finish line. We've got things happening right now, so I was actually fundraising. I was coming here. That's why I couldn't find where we're at. I was driving around the block because this lady kept talking, and I'm like, I gotta find, but I didn't want to let her go because she was gonna donate. So hey, but yeah, money, any amount, $5, $10, whatever you can afford. And I know it's tough, but we can't do it without money, and access to capital is what we need. So yeah, on my website, Vote Kern, and that's what the candidates need, is a little bit of help.
Yes. So if you would like to help Reina Patocs or Anthony Kern, please do so. Go ahead and jump online. Contact them if you are able to help them canvassing, 'cause they both have boots on the ground campaigns that they are running. So that's definitely something that we would appreciate your help with.
And we have the 4th of July coming, so enjoy your families
Independence
on the 4th
Day.
of July. And watch your kids around water. It's very, very important.
Yes.
And don't leave kids or pets unattended in your vehicles. And then we have guests on the 13th, right? The Saturday.
Yes, we do. We have Alan Skillicorn coming up. We have William Lixon for county treasurer.
Treasurer, yeah.
Last night somebody said he was running for county recorder, and he said, "Keep me away from that race." So yes, county treasurer Williamson, and like I said, Alan Skillicorn coming up. So everyone have a wonderful 4th of July. We'll see you next time. Bye.